Hello, and this is Big Bang Bot, and today I will be re-reviewing Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back, for the Sony PlayStation, also known in Japan as Crash Bandicoot Cortex no Gacho. Sorry for my pronunciation, and I believe that it translates to Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Gonna Get Ya, even though on the box it says Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back. Oh, wait. Oh, I'm sorry. Cortex Strikes Back. Oh, I'm so sorry. It clearly says Cortex Strikes Back. Oh, I'm so sorry, Japanese box of Crash 2. I'm just so sorry. So, anyway, despite that typo, this is basically a sequel to the original Crash Bandicoot. And a quick history lesson was that sometime after the first game, or shortly after the first game, the creators decided to make a sequel. Why? I don't know, probably because the original was very successful. I mean, come on! If your non-Japanese game manages to sell over 500,000 copies in Japan, then you know that you have a successful game. So they decided to make a sequel, and they made an engine which was way more powerful than the engine that was used in the first game. Get it? Because one of the characters in the game is called Engine. Oh wait, never mind. So anyway, this game was released on Halloween 1997 in North America, and then it came out in Europe and Japan in December of 1997. Even though the European version came out first. Sorry, Japan, but you had like a ton of Crash games released in December. I mean, was Crash Bandicoot a Christmas thing? Oh, I don't know. But anyway, the game received more positive reviews than the first game, and it sold just as well as the first game. In fact, the Japanese version of the game sold over 1 million copies. Now that is a success for Japanese standards. So, considering that this game sold over 1 million in Japan and a ton more worldwide, and the fact that PlayStation Magazine gave this a 5 out of 5, I've got to check this out. No, really, I just have to. I just got to go get the disc right now. Okay, now this is the case that contains all my loose PS1 games and a few other loose discs, but I hate the word loose, but whatever. Just gotta look through. Here's Crash Bandicoot 2. I've gotta go to my original PlayStation, get out of the way stuff. The story of the game, well, at least the first part of it, it takes place right after the original. And do you want to know how right after I mean? Well, I'm just going to show you how right after it is. Yeah. That's pretty straight after. And I know, hey look, it's the new main collectible, Power Crystals! Oh wait, never mind. So basically, the game takes place, as in the rest of the game takes place, 1 year after the original. And there's this new guy called Engine who does research on power crystals, I guess. Okay. And they need 25 more. That's right, 25 more. And Cortex needs someone to collect them for him. And who does he get for the job? Why, he gets crashed, of course, because this wouldn't be a game otherwise. And wait, who the beep is this? No, seriously, who the beep is this? Where's Torna? Where is Torna? Oh, wait, that's a very long explanation on why Torna isn't in the game. And Did You Know Gaming will explain that to you, so go watch that. And that girl's name is Coco, so whatever, I do know this beep. But anyway, Cortex tells Crash to collect the crystals for him, but Cortex does not tell him he wants them for evil reasons. Instead, Cortex wants you to get them for a different reason. And that reason is that he wants you to find them to help the environment. That's right, help the environment, even though he's lying. The story, just like the first game, it's simple and, yeah, well, it's a little bit more complex. Not a lot, but it's a bit more complex, and it's still alright. It's definitely there, and it definitely gives the game a plot, obviously, and there's not really much to say other than Cortex is a troll. Seriously, if I was working at Naughty Dog back when this game was being made, I would have called the game Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Trolls Back, because Cortex really is a troll, and we all know it. The game, just like its predecessor, is a simple point A to B platformer, but there is one huge difference in this game compared to the original. There are these power crystals in each level, which you have to collect, because if you don't, you can't move on to the next level. And Cortex will scold you. That stupid troll! Gems also return, and you get them the same way as in the first game, where you basically destroy every single box in every level. And it's nowhere near as evil as breaking the blocks in Super Mario Bros. Because they weren't originally species, unlike the blocks in Super Mario Bros. Which were innocent toads. Quest is over. We present you a new quest. Push B button to select a world. And you killed thousands of my innocent toads, you thieving murderer! But some levels have 2 gems, which is sometimes a coloured gem. And you get these gems by an amount of ways. Going to a death route. Yep, you can go to a death route, and I apologise if I missed the word bye, but who da beep cares, which is basically an evil route which you reach by not dying, and if you manage to reach it without dying, you can play through this route, and once you get to the end of the route, there's a gem. Just pretend there's a gem on the screen, okay? There's also coloured gem routes, which you get to by collecting a coloured gem, then going into a level which has a coloured gem route, then you get on the coloured gem, and then you just go through the route. It's pretty simple, and it's basically like the death route, except that instead of getting there without dying, you gotta get there with, you know, the required color gem, and in the final level, you need all of the colored gems to get through the colored gem path to beat the level. So yeah, and these rows sometimes contain boxes, and they sometimes don't. It really depends on the level. In the levels Hang 8 and Plant Food, there is a time challenge where you need to beat the level before time runs out. So you basically need to turn into Sonic the Beeping Hedgehog. Yeah, I did it! Woohoo! The other gems, and this especially goes for the color gems, are, well, a little bit more cryptic. To be fair, it's not always cryptic. In fact, level 1 is a perfect example of it not being cryptic. Okay, once you've got your normal gem, you would revisit the level, play through, and then you'd see the box counter. And it says 13 out of 0, and then you're like, what? I got 13 out of 0 boxes? What does that mean? And then you think to yourself, maybe if I go through the entire level without getting a single box, I will get a gem, so I'm going to try it. And then you try it. But once you get there, you're like, ooh, it's a blue gem. I've collected no boxes whatsoever, and right in front of me is a blue gem. Interesting. I'm going to pick it up, because that'll actually be very helpful for me. So you pick it up, and boom. You just collected the blue gem. And that's the only level that does anything like that, because the rest of the coloured gems are a little bit more cryptic. For example, in level 10, there is a split pathway. You can either go to the left or the right. Some gamers might think, I'm going to go to the right. Then you go to the right, and there's usually a few boxes here, and then you find out it's a dead end. And by the way, these are nitrous, and if you touch them, they hurt you. So that's fatal, and you've got to remember that for a tiny bit later. But guess what? This wall isn't solid. You can actually walk through the wall, and then you go to a brand new area. And can you guess what's on the other side of the area? Nope. Well, what's on the other side of the area is something special. And I mean something special. Absolutely nothing. Well, there's actually a green gem there, but I've already collected it, so just pretend that the green gem is there. Another evil example is in level 20. You see those nitro crates, right? And guess what? You can stand on those nitro crates, and once you get onto the top, you can go to this bonus round place, and there's a purple gem right around here usually, but I've already collected it, so just pretend that that purple gem is right here. Just pretend it's there. It's usually there. Now, how is any kid back in 1997 supposed to figure that out? I mean, just how? I mean, I guess that you could have just, you know, looked at the game's official strategy guide, since that there was a version of that released worldwide, and that should have told you about these secrets, and if it didn't, then it would have been a terrible strategy guide. And if you lived in Japan, you could either look at the strategy guide, or you could watch the Crash Bash first special video, but First off, you had to wait 3 years to see that, and second off, how was a Japanese person supposed to guess the code? Because I haven't seen a Crash Bash Japanese strategy guide, so how would a Japanese person know the code? I don't know if the internet would have had it. I mean, it could have, but I don't know, because I was too young to remember anything in late 2000, and I didn't even exist to know anything in 1997, so whatever, that's enough complaining or just guessing stuff. I'd also like to mention the bonus rounds. You no longer save in the bonus rounds. Instead, the bonus rounds are only there to collect boxes, which actually do add up to the end box count, unlike the first game. So, go to these bonus stages and collect all the boxes if you want 100%. I mean, you didn't have to do that in Crash 1, but you do in this game. And I know what you're thinking, in case you haven't played the game. How the beep do you save in this game? Well, I'm going to tell you. The game now has a hub world, and the saving bit is right here. It's a giant blank wall that you can save and load your game on. So that is actually quite cool when you have 4 files to save on, which is also quite cool, and they only take up 1 memory card block. I mean, 1 save just takes up 1, and even if you do 4 saves, it'll still only take up 1 block altogether. In case, I know it's hard to explain, but the multiple files do not require multiple blocks. You only need 1 block to save all of them, which is actually awesome. And each hub world has 5 levels in each, which is actually really cool. Do you want to know why? Well, let's say you're playing a really hard level and it's annoying you. If this was the first game, then you just have to keep trying. But in this game, if a level is frustrating you, you can just simply quit out of the level, and yes, there's an actual pause menu in this game, which is quite cool. And then all you have to do is go to a level which sounds cool to you. So, pick one of those levels. I mentioned before that there are 5 levels in each hub world, and there's a total of 5 hub worlds. You have the dirt levels world, you've got the ice world, and no, not all of the levels have the same theme. You've got the sewer world, and you've also got the cave world, and last but not least, you have Anyway, once you've collected all of the crystals in all of the levels in that hub world, you can fight the boss of that hub world, and then once you beat that boss, you can go to the next world. And these bosses include Ripperoo, you know, that crazy blue kangaroo thingy from the first game who has the same laugh as the hyena from Lady and the Tramp. And his fight is actually easier in this game than it was in Crash 1, believe it or not. There's the very easy Komodo brothers, Komodo Mo and Komodo Joe, or what my 12-year-old self called them,
Komodo Mo and Komodo Joe. Basically the Komodo brothers.
There's Tiny the giant orange tiger, even though all tigers are orange, but whatever, who cares? And sometimes he can be annoying, but he's not that hard. And then there's Cortex's evil partner, who we saw at the beginning of the game, Engine. And last but not least, there's the King of Trolls himself, Dr. Neo Trolltex. I mean, Cortex. Sorry, it's just that he's such a big troll. and his fight is incredibly easy and stupid. It's just a stupid chase, which is annoying, but incredibly easy. I mean, come on. This was a terrible final fight. You're just chasing Cortex, and you got to get him before he gets away, and it's easy, it's lame, it's stupid, and not a very good way to end the game. Let me just say that right now. While it is satisfying killing him,
haven't seen the last of me, Christ Bandicoot.
Yeah, and it even proves in the third game. And sorry for that little interruption, but the ending is not worth it because Coco tells you something.
Crash, what do you suppose happened to Cortex? And what about the Cortex Vortex? It's still up there.
Yep, the Cortex Vortex is still there, so your life will never be complete until you destroy it. Beep you, Coco. Why do you have to remind me of that? I got your laptop battery back, so you better not make me do any more evil tasks, Coco. Unfortunately, she does. The game also has a few secret exits, which basically make you go a special route to find a secret exit, which will take you up into the sixth warp room, which is very mystical. And the sixth warp room has 3 levels. That's right, 3. And you can even see the other 2 islands in Crash 1, which is quite cool. And this is actually the top of Cortex's destroyed castle in the first game, so that's also cool. Anyway, 3 of these levels are previous levels in the game, and basically you need to go back to these levels so that you can get the red gem in Snow Go, the normal gem in Air Crash, and the normal gem in Road to Ruin. And Air Crash, you need to go there to this secret entrance, but the Snow Go and Road to Ruin, yeah, you need to go there.
Or you could just be a dirty, skanky little cheater, couldn't you?
Except in Air Crash.
It's my face and the camera.
It's actually Caddius's face, but who the beep cares? But there are 2 levels, and I'm not telling you which ones because I've spoiled enough about secrets in this game. They will take you to the portals to 2 completely brand new levels, which both have the word totally in them for whatever reason. Totally Bear is one of the polar bear levels. Yes, there are polar bear levels in this game, so keep that in mind, as well as Jetboard and Rocket Pack levels. But this one, unlike the other 2 polar bear levels, it's dark. Very, very, very dark. Which shows off this game's amazing draw distance in this level. Just look at this draw distance. It's amazing. I can only see like 10 feet in front of me. This is incredibly incredible. And Totally Fly is a dark jungle level. And by the way, level 23 is also a dark jungle level, meaning that there's a total of 4 jungle levels in the game, 2 of them being light and 2 of them being dark. Wow, I definitely see the creativity there. Haha, there's so much creativity in this game. Actually, no, there's not, but whatever. The controls in this game are simple. You move around with either the D-pad or the analog stick, except if you're playing on PSN, then you're forced to use the D-pad because Sony's evil, but hey, whatever. To jump, you press the X button. I bet you didn't see that coming. To spin, you press the square button. But Crash has a few new moves. To slide, you go into a direction, and then you press the circle button, or R1 button, and if you're standing still and you press either of those buttons, Crash ducks. And you could do a super high jump! But that's not it, but I'm going to get to the more complicated stuff in a little bit. So, Crash also has a new belly flop, which is actually kind of useful sometimes. Basically, in the air, press the slide button. Or one of the slide buttons. It's simple! But there's some more complicated stuff. For example, the neutral side spin. In order to do this, you go into a direction, and what you do is that you would slide, you let go of the analog stick, then you press the spin button. Here's a demonstration. Slide, let go of your direction, then press spin. Crash goes a lot faster if you do that. This is what happens if you don't let go of the analog stick. And this is what happens if you do let go of the analog stick. Genius. That will definitely help with speedrunning. And if you want Crash to do a super high jump where you can actually do a belly slam, which you can't do with your usual high jump, you slide, you jump, and then you quickly spin, and boom, and you can then press circle while in the air or R1 to do your belly slam. And here's a comparison on how this is better without super high jump, with super high jump. Incredible, eh? And there's also wiggling. If you wiggle the analog stick while jumping, you can actually go a little bit faster and a little bit further, so that's definitely cool. I will admit that. And as for the controls in general, the controls in this game are great. They're responsive, they're fluent, they work when you want them to work, and overall they're just great. I can definitely tell you that bit. While the depth perception isn't perfect, that's not the controls' fault, that's the game's fault. So don't go blaming the controls on something you can't blame them on, but the controls practically work perfectly and I don't have any issues with them. So, moving on to the vehicles. There's the before-mentioned polar bear levels where Crash gets on a polar bear named Polar, such an original name, and these levels are like the Hog levels in Crash 1, only better. You can charge on this polar bear, which is really cool, and this polar bear controls fluently. There's this hoverboard jet ski thingy. Okay, it's not a hoverboard, it's more like a water hover jet ski thingy-majiggy. But basically, this thing basically goes on the water, you can charge with it, and it can't jump, and you use it on water. And last but not least, there's a jetpack, which Crash will put on him. And guess what happens when Crash puts the jetpack on? He's able to fly, and you can go backwards with circle and forwards with X, and you can spin in this thing, you can go up, you can go down, which is inverted, and yeah, this is quite cool. And as for the controls in the vehicles, I said that the polar bear controlled fluently, but I was kind of lying. It's actually kind of stiff, but I have no idea why I said it was fluent. And the jetpack and the water ski, they are both very slippery. So these vehicles, while a fun change of pace, they do not control perfectly. But I can definitely say that the vehicles in this game are better than the vehicles in the sequels. And there's a lot less vehicle levels than in the sequels. And yeah, while there's 3 jet ski levels, 3 polar bear levels, and 2 jetpack levels, these levels are still nice changes of paces, and they're a lot better than the vehicles in Crash 3 and Wrath of Cortex. The graphics in this game, considering that they were supposed to be the selling point, are really, really good. The textures are in even higher detail than in the first game, and the game has smooth textures, and overall it has great textures, I can tell you that. The character models are nice, except for their faces, which are actually kind of creepy, as in the faces that talk to you in the cutscenes. And overall, the game looks nice. I will mention that I did notice slowdown and the game sometimes freezing on me for like a second. But This could just be the problems with my discs, but I was playing through the Japanese version of the game for the review, and it's in significantly better condition than my European copy, and I don't know whether it's a problem with the discs or with the actual game, so who knows? Well, I sure don't. And just to let you know, this little Japanese thingy which came with my Japanese copy of the game, it calls the jet ski a surfboard. And yes, I can read that, it says surfboard. The music in this game is probably the best bit in the game. The music is catchy, it's upbeat, and unlike the first game where there are some mediocre songs, all of the songs in this game are absolutely great. I mean, I just love the title screen music. I always, you know, do a little dance to it and sometimes recite the tune. I mean, I do really like the title screen music, but it was changed in the Japanese version. But luckily, it was in the Japanese version of the game, it was changed to this. That song is so good! The sound effects are basically the same as in Crash 1, well, when it comes to Crash's jumping, spinning, and the boxes and the wobblers and stuff like that. And Crash's new abilities and all the new obstacles, they all have new sound effects, and the voice acting actually isn't that bad. And this is also the first Crash game where Aku Aku actually talked! Well, in the Japanese version at least. By the way, Aku Aku works exactly the same as he does in the first game, so watch my review on the first game if you want to know what he does, in case you haven't played the games and you don't know. If there's one bad thing I have to say about the game, and trust me, there's not many bad things I can say about the game, is the boss battles. The boss battles in this game are very easy once you know what you're doing, and they're not the most enjoyable fights. I mean, the bosses are okay, but there's certainly nothing special, and Cortex especially, he's just such a terrible final fight. Luckily, everything will be improved in the third game, but this is the second game, so I shouldn't really get my hopes too high. But other than that this game is great. Everything else about the game is great. The graphics, the music, the controls, the levels. Everything about this game is just so good. And yes, the cryptic stuff is also a negative, but that's not it. I mean, there's like one pit where you fall down in one of the chase levels, and there's a bonus stage which you'd never guess is there. But other than that, and the other few cryptic things I told you in the video, this game is near flawless. It's fun, the graphics are great, the music's great, it controls great, and overall, I definitely recommend you add this game to your collection. Overall, Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Trolls Back. Oh, I'm sorry, Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back is how a sequel should be made. I mean, this game basically took everything that was correct about the first game and improved on it in the sequel, and it took everything bad about the original and improved it. Well, except for the boss battles, but still, this game added more, it was more fun, it had a lot of challenge, but the challenge was fairer than in Crash 1, and the box system, I didn't mention how the box system works in this game, but it's better than in Crash 1, because, you know, in Crash 1, if you died, you could go back for the boxes and collect them. However, in Crash 2, once you died, it would literally save all the boxes you collected, and then you could actually go back and collect the gem, even if you died, which was a fantastic improvement, which I forgot to mention earlier, but I'm mentioning it now. So, yeah, this game looks great, it sounds great, it controls great. Overall, this game is great. I would give it an A. I wouldn't give it an A+, because the bosses do suck, and well, it is quite cryptic, but it is still a very fun game, which I definitely recommend. And the Japanese version of this game, well, despite misspelling Cortex on the side of the box, seriously, Cortex strikes back. It is still a great game for collectors. I mean, it's got quite a few differences from the European/North American versions, and it's just as fun as those versions. Plus, here's another cool thing about the Japanese version, only the Japanese version. If you hold left circle L1 and R1, you will be able to watch the Crush You Bandicoot music video, which you'll be seeing at the end of the video. But overall, Crash 2 is basically a sequel at its finest. This is how you make sequels, guys. This game. And 1 year later, Naughty Dog will do it again with Crash 3, which was an improvement over Crash 2, okay? Compared to Crash 1 and 2, it was like, boom! I completely kicked your beep, Crash 1! However, with Crash 3, it's more like, haha, take that, Crash 2. Crash 3 is still a great game, and an improvement over number 2, but that's a topic for another day. But anyway, thanks for watching my re-review on Crash Bandicoot 2. I hope you enjoyed it. Please comment, rate, subscribe. If you want to watch my original review for some reason, then go and watch that. I might put a link in the description. And if you want to watch my Crash 1 re-review, I will also put that in the description. But anyway, this is Big Bang Bot, signing out. Oh.